Welcome to Paper Crafting with Tracy. Today we're going to be making a card without using any stamp sets. So that was the challenge I decided to do, and this card here is actually made using just two different colors of cardstock, and then the black, of course, for the writing. I started off with just a plain piece of basic white and created my own background with it, just by using a stencil that I made with a punch. So we'll just put that aside there. And so the punch I used was this balloon punch. It's two different sizes of balloons. Hopefully you can see that there. And I just punched out, just out of some scrap piece of paper, I just punched out a couple that I can use for a stencil. And then have some spare balloons here of the same size that I will use to shield some of the ones I did. So I'm just going to take a piece of basic white. And I'm just going to get a scrap piece here that we used earlier for another demonstration. And this is a piece that is just 3 1/4 by 5 inches. And I'm just going to start somewhere on there. And what I found when I was doing this sample one is it's better if you have two, one for more light colors and one for dark, because otherwise, as you can see, well, you end up with some different colors. This was supposed to be a yellow, but I had already just done a green, so it turned out a little bit green, just bringing in the color from the matting. So if you have a couple stencils you can use, that would be useful. So the colors I'm using for my balloons is I've got Pacific Point, and I'm just going to line all these up. I've got some Granny Apple Green. I have Poppy Parade for my red. Oops. I have Melon Mambo as the pink. And Daffodil Delight as my yellow. And Mango Melody for kind of the orangey color I wanted. So I was looking for some brighter colors. I also have some sponges here, so I'm just going to put those on the ones I was using. Okay, so I've got my Pacific Point here, my Granny Apple Green. I have, so just by lining those all up, there's that one. Okay, so I think I'm going to start with my Melon Mambo today. So we'll just ink up my sponge. Choose a spot on your piece of paper. And you can use daubers for this. The new sponges that Stampin' Up! Has will be a little bit tricky just because it's a smaller area. And I'm just going to kind of sponge in there a little bit. And then I just started swirling it around just to create some design in there. Just like so. And then there's your balloon. Then I'm going to put a matting over that just to protect that color. And I'm going to move this. Actually, I might not even need my matting yet, because I'm just going to start filling in some area. Maybe I'll start up here first. I'm going to actually come off a little bit. And let's start, I'll do my red, because that's another one I can do with the same color, or same matting. So, again, just fill it in, like so, and when you pull away. Okay, and then I'm going to keep my matting there. I'm going to come in here. Oops. Help if I put matting over the other one, because you want to protect those, and it'll look like there's a balloon behind, like so. And you just want to start filling in all the areas. So I think I will use Granny Apple Green for here. And once you start getting your matting in there, it's a little harder to swirl things around so that you don't disrupt your matting. So I find it easier if you get your fingers on there. kind of just swirl around like so. You can see now it looks like there's a balloon in between. So I think I'll put another one here. I think I'll get a blue one maybe up in here. I'm going to put it fairly over, closer to the center so that I fill in more white. I'll just put that there. Oops. Get my Pacific Point, dab that in. So I'll rub that in here. Like so. And now you're just going to continue going down. So I'll just get some matting on there to protect those. And I think I will maybe come down here, maybe put an orange one in here. So this is my Mango Melody. Oops. I find it helpful, so that that doesn't happen for you, is to get your finger over there to hold it in place. And I like it having darker areas and lighter areas, where you can see it's a little bit more. Now I might keep a couple of those there, maybe put matting here. You can see where I did it before. I'm going to flip this over for the yellow, just to have a separate one for the yellow. So this is Daffodil Delight, and it really picks up other colors, so that's why I was wanting just a separate. Oops. Again, I didn't have my finger on that one. So. And just rubbing it in there really gets the color in there. There we go. So I'll take some of those mattings off. And you can see it's starting to really take shape now. So I think I need something here. So let's get some matting back in there. I think I'll put another blue one in there. And again, you put your finger in place just to hold the masking in behind. It's a little bit, takes a little bit of time, but I really like how the effect comes. So I'll keep that one there. And you can go down as far as you want. So we'll put we'll get maybe another red one in here. So I think I'll do a pink one up here. Oops. Oops. And maybe a green one in here. Obviously I got some on there, but that's going to be hidden in just a moment. Let's do like so. And we're almost done here. Okay, and I think I'll get one more yellow, maybe, down here in the bottom corner. I might actually put just a couple down here in the bottom. Maybe I'll put a yellow right here. Of course, even though I start with all these on my ink pads, they always seem to, I collect them on the side. As long as you use the right sponge for the right color, then you're fine. Go, and I think I will do maybe an orange right here. There. Now take all your matting away, and there's your background. So before you do anything, get your ink moved out of the way, or you will end up with that on things. Okay, I'll move these over to the side. Get rid of all this other stuff. Okay, so there's my background. Now I'm going to mount that onto, I chose Melon Mambo as my, Mango Melody as my background. And I left the border quite wide because I wanted some of that color to show. So we'll just mount that on there with my Stampin' Seal. Like so. And I'll do the inside. Again, same size paper, but before I do that, I added a balloon on the inside. So I think today maybe I will put a, maybe a blue one, a Pacific Point blue one on the inside. So just doing the same technique, but I'm just putting the one in. There we go. So I will mount that to the inside. Make sure you get your ink pads out of the way. Okay. And then I just took our journaling marker, our Stampin' Write journaling marker, and it's got two ends, a wider end and a smaller end. So I just took that and just drew kind of the end of the balloon. Now, before we finish it, I want to put our sentiment on the front. So I went to our dies and chose the well-written dies because I wanted a happy birthday sentiment. So these are all our well-written dies, which you can't really see what they're saying. And I chose the happy and the birthday. So I took those over. And I've got this. Now you can do this one of two ways. Well, actually one of three. You could mount this on some of our thicker foam. Or you can also mount it on the, it's a double-sided tape you put on the cardstock before you put it through the cut and emboss machine. However, I'm aware that a lot of my customers may not have those things, so I just chose to do this way, and I'm just going to use plain old fine tip glue to put this on. The other way, actually what I will show you is a different technique, is if you just take one of these rubber mats, and you take your multi-purpose glue and just put a dollop there. And then you get one of your sponges. Make sure your sentiment with these ones is on the back. You get a little bit of glue on there, and then just dab it on the back of your sentiment. And then you can position that on. And it sticks nicely. So we'll get the birthday. Now, what I didn't take out when I took it to the Stamp and Cut machine, on the birthday there's the little circle for the dot of the eye. So, if I can, I'll just get my multi-purpose glue here. You can do this with the fine tip as well, but I'm just going to put a little dollop. Actually, I'll probably find it easier with the fine tip just because it's smaller. And I found it easier just to put a little dollop of glue there and then take out your little circle. I don't take that circle out until I'm ready because you lose it. Oops. Now it's stuck to me with some glue on. And I've got a little bit too much glue on there, so I'll just take a bit off. Stick that on. It does clear, dry clear. Now and then what you can do with this is you can just take it and run it under some hot water, and actually when it dries it just rubs off. So it doesn't ruin your rubber mat. Then the other thing I chose out of the new mini catalog, the January to June 2021 catalog, is they have some opal rounds. And there's a couple different sizes in there. So I just took some of these and place them throughout for a little bit of bling. There we go. And now I'll fold my card over. And there you have it, with your own generated background stamp. So I hope you've enjoyed this edition of Paper Crafting with Tracy, and happy stamping!